Alright guys, just wanted to let you know that before I start this video today, I want to let you know I did a thing. I did a really crazy thing. I started a TikTok. So definitely go and follow me on TikTok. My TikTok name is right here. So check out my new video that I just posted on there for some different type of content. See you soon. What's going on guys? So I'm back for another video today, and today we are going to retheme the Betta tank. So I asked in a couple of videos ago, I asked you guys to comment on what you wanted the theme to be, and little Max Robert asked for 500 likes on the video and we would retheme it. Well, we got 500 likes. Little Max Robert here. What's up, buddy? You say hi.
Hi.
So little Max Robert here asked you guys for 500 likes on that video, and if we got it, we would retheme the Betta tank. And we would pick the comment below that was most liked or most commented. And the comment that won was from the Bren. And the Bren said do a tropical theme, like a jungle theme basically, with a bunch of live plants. So that's exactly what we're gonna do, the Bren. We are going to theme this tank with a lot of live plants and some driftwood and some Indian almond leaves. We are basically going to make a Blackwater Betta tank with some really cool driftwood, some really cool plants, and some black substrate. I also bought a tank kit. We basically need to hardscape it with the driftwood, and we need to put some root tabs down, put the substrate down, then we will basically plant the plants and then fill it up with water. We'll place the leaves in it, and then eventually we're going to put the fish in. We'll probably let it cycle for 24 hours or so before. I am going to use pre-cycle filter media, so there is some beneficial bacteria in there to start out. We'll do a water test tomorrow just to make sure that everything is good, and then we will place the fish in. But you'll go ahead and see the tank today, at least in its initial beginning. Now granted, when you're doing a Blackwater tank, at least as far as the research I've done, and you're doing a planted tank, you can buy full-grown plants, put those in the tank. That doesn't mean that they're actually going to survive or that they're going to look as good as they did in the store, because just like fish, they have to acclimate to the environment. There's different nutrient levels and things that are required for the plants to strive. The initial view of this tank will be very kind of sparse because the plants are smaller, they're not fully grown, and over time we will continue to look at this tank because I do like this idea and I've been thinking about this for a while. So the fact that it was brought up and we're doing it, that's why I bought a new tank. We're actually going to put this in, and this is going to be a permanent tank in our army of tanks, if you will. The original Betta tank that was last themed as Minecraft will remain to be a themed tank, but this jungle tank, or the Blackwater tank is what it's really going to be, with all the live plants and such, that will remain permanent. So the Bren, thanks for the idea. You basically nailed it, dude. We are turning that into a permanent fixture in our tank arsenal. So let's get to this and see what we can build out. All right, guys. So here's the Betta tank in its current state. I went ahead and I bought the plants, and I just placed those in here very generically just to keep them alive because I've had them for 24 plus hours and I didn't want them to die. So those are in here. We have some Italian veil, I believe is what this is called. It is different than the jungle veil that's in the 100-gallon in the fact that I think it's broader leaf. We also have some moss. This will be used in the driftwood just to basically plant it in the driftwood, which I'll show you that because I actually put some of this in the 100-gallon and the driftwood in there just to see what it would look like, and it looks really cool. We bought the, not really sure, and I'm not sure what this plant is either, but those are both really cool. This plant is very big and kind of hardy, and it'll fill up a lot in the tank, which is why I went with that. This one as well. This thing is completely, it's a huge root ball, and I know I'm making a mess in here, but that's okay because this stuff is about to move. But it's a huge root ball, it spreads out and it goes everywhere, and that stuff is going to look really good in there too. So I went ahead and bought some more hornwort for the Guppy breeding tank, and the reason for that is I didn't really have enough in here. They didn't have enough the other day when I bought this. So this is now large enough for the fry to get into, hide, and not have to worry about getting eaten. So the guppies look good though. Since we're in here, we'll just go ahead and look at these guys and see. But everybody looks good in here. So back to the 100-gallon so I can show you this moss. I also used some of the other plants. I broke some of them off and used some of that. Like I said, I'm not sure what this is in front of this rock right here, but that's a little piece of that stuff that has a huge root ball. There is a little more right there. And then if you notice, there's some of the moss in the driftwood. There's some there as well. I don't know what this moss is actually called. I need to do some research on it, but I talked to the guy at the plant store that I was working with, and he said that that will eventually take and then grow up all over the driftwood. I hope that that's the case. If it's not, we'll replace that with some that is like that. I think there's some Java moss or something like that that's really cool. So I think that, you know, the scaping in here looks kind of cool, and we will move on to starting this Blackwater betta tank. So here is the Indian almond leaves that I also bought. These are a leaf that will sit on the bottom and will actually provide some color to the water. We will put those in there. Here's the piece of driftwood, which I will show you the overall layout of what this will look like in just a moment. And then I have just a standard aquaculture 10-gallon starter kit from Walmart because they're so cheap. They're like $25. By the time I bought a 10-gallon tank, because I want to make this a 10-gallon tank. The other one is a 5-gallon tank, but I want to go ahead and make this a 10-gallon tank. And I won't bore you guys with the unboxing of this. I've unboxed these aquariums 2 or 3 times in videos, but basically, like I said, this thing is like 25, 26 bucks at Walmart. It comes with pretty much everything you need. It comes with an LED, a lid, a filter, and the actual tank, and then it's got some packets of food and stuff in there like that, which I don't need. Only thing I really need for this build is just the tank and the filter, and this was the cheapest way to get it in a store. I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this off camera, get it over onto the counter where I'm gonna put this, and then we will start looking at how the overall structure of this is gonna look. Okay, so I have the tank unboxed. I moved the Guppy tank over here. Just because you can pick this up even with the water in it because it's plastic, it's not a big deal. So I picked that up and moved it. Do not ever pick up a full aquarium, even as small as a 5-gallon, because it could easily bust the whole bottom out of it. But to start with this, what we need to do is hardscape this. So in order to hardscape this, what we are going to do is we're going to start with this really cool piece of driftwood that I bought today, which overall looks like this. And we're gonna put this right about here, like so. Now, what will happen is this is actually going to be on a platform, which we're gonna do that in just a moment. But as you can see, it kind of sticks up out of the top of the tank, which is cool. I may actually place it more on a lean-to, kind of like that. I'm not quite sure just yet, but we will see once I'm done with this. So I have this old piece of slate, and I'm gonna use this slate to actually glue down the driftwood to it to hold it in place. It's a very thin piece of slate, and yeah, I'm gonna use some super glue to hold it down. So the next step is to prepare the substrate, which what I went with, the ᴂᴬᵁ planted aquarium substrate. And the reason is first off, I wanted black. This is midnight black. And after doing some research and some, reading of reviews, this was the best option. The only thing that I did see in the reviews is that this really needs to be cleaned or rinsed off before you put it in the tank, because there's a lot of like silt in the bag. So I'm gonna start with rinsing that off in this 5-gallon bucket and getting that prepared for the tank. Okay, so I have the driftwood glued down to the piece of slate. I have all of the substrate has been washed. I will just tell you now, if you guys decide to buy and use ᴂᴬᵁ planted aquarium substrate in midnight black, prepare to either wash this stuff 6 or 7 times before you place it in your aquarium. If you don't, you might want to go ahead and prepare for 3, 4, 5, or even 6 days of waiting for this stuff to settle down. There was so much silt in here. I put it in a 5-gallon bucket, filled it up, kept dumping the water out, kept dumping it out until it started to clear up a little bit. I took a little bit of water out of the 100-gallon just simply because there's bacteria in it, and it's dechlorinated to do the final rinse on this stuff. And you can still see how cloudy this water is just from that. So definitely prepare for that. Now, I have the driftwood in here mounted. It is in position where I want it. And now it's just a matter of putting this substrate around in the tank. And as I'm doing this, you can see that the water, the more you mess with it, the worse this stuff gets. This stuff also smells pretty bad too. So this is about how I want it. I want it about 2.5 inches deep on this side and then slope gradually down to about 1 inch on this side, which is exactly the way I have it here. I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up, run another time lapse of putting the plants in here.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah. So I have all the plants placed into the tank. I have the substrate gradually starting from this side. You can see that it's higher here and it comes down to here. And then I have 2 jungle veils in the back. This is a little Amazon sword. I have some, I don't remember what this stuff is called, but it is some sort of a little viney kind of thing. I have this right here, and then I have all that bushy type stuff that I showed you earlier in the video planted like right back here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and place some of the Indian almond leaves on the bottom of the tank. So let's check this out. Okay, so I have about 4 or 5 Indian almond leaves in here. They're actually being weighted down with a rock at the moment, and that's just because it's gonna take 2 or 3 days before those things will actually sink on their own, otherwise they're just gonna float to the top. So I'm gonna leave those sitting just like that. The betta will actually not go in here for a few days anyway. The tank needs to really cycle, and I need to do a water test on it, just simply because of the nutrients that are in the soil. I just want to make sure that everything is okay before I put the fish in there. Now, I will be getting a new betta for this tank. I think that the blue betta needs to stay in the tank it's in for the theme tank, and I think I need to get something new for this one. So, if you guys have any, ideas around what kind of betta or what it should look like, definitely comment below and let me know what you think. So it is the next morning, and I'm gonna tell you, this tank is looking exactly the way I want it to. Throw this lighted lid on this thing just so we can see in here. It's exactly what I'm wanting out of this tank. So I need to let this sit just for a little while longer to continue to cycle. And yeah, if you look over here, the betta has him an Indian almond leaf in his tank now too. The glowfish are all looking good. Let's take a look at the 100-gallon. All right, everybody in the 100 gallons looking good. Yeah, I really like the way this tank turned out. So like I said, I'm gonna let this thing cycle for a couple more days and then I'm gonna add the fish. All right, guys. So here is the finished Blackwater betta tank. Now granted, it will not have the light behind it. I am literally doing that just so you can see into the tank. Yeah, unfortunately guys, you can't really see it with the light off. Let's see if I can put the light over the top a little bit. Yeah, that's a little better. So basically, what you have is you have an Anubias right here in the corner. You have a Amazon sword, all buried inside of Flora Max substrate. There are 4 or 5 Indian almond leaves. There is a Java fern, some Italian veil. Coming over here, you have a nice piece of driftwood with some different mosses on it. And then in the back, there's another plant. I can't remember what that one's called. You cannot see that at all though. And then up here at the top, you can see there's a ton of duckweed and frog something. I don't remember what it's called. Also, the filter is actually going to be removed. It's not required for this tank. I just simply put it in here so it could clear up the water a little bit. I think it looks amazing. It definitely looks better in person than it does on the little view screen on my camera. So hopefully it turns out good in the video. Well, let's check on everybody else real quick. So right here you also have the betta, and the betta also has some Indian almond leaves in the bottom of the tank. I dropped one in there. They actually, after doing some research on them, I guess bettas really like those. It's actually been kind of chilling on it, just hanging out and sleeping on it, I guess. There is some plant matter in the bottom just from all the plants. This tank needs to be cleaned out now that I've taken all these plants out and such, which I will take care of that. This betta is actually going to remain in this particular tank. Like I said, I'm buying a new betta for this tank. I actually went and talked to the person about it today, and they have one in stock, which is great because I'm gonna pick it up. I just have to test this water and make sure everything's good. Now, checking out the glowfish. So all the glow tetra look good. Everything looks good in this tank. Moving over to the 100 gallon. So the 100 gallon looks good. I don't remember if I put this in a video or not, but I built this little rock cave back here in the corner for the pleco and the featherfin catfish. They get in there a lot, quite often. I also added some of the moss that I had left over, and this is the plant that's in the back of that tank that I don't remember what it's called. The Amazon sword right here has really started to branch out and grow taller significantly significantly since even yesterday. I put some root tabs in the sand in this tank, and the plants have really started to take off. There's another, I think that's another Amazon sword. That's a little piece of Anubias, I believe. Another Amazon sword. There's some jungle veil back there, and then there's some jungle veil back in the back up here as well. But look at old ᴃᴁᵀ. ᴃᴁᵀ's doing good. All ᴃᴁᵀ wants to do is eat, as you can see. That's it. I mean, I fed this thing like 40 times today. Not really, but look, the angelfish, that's all they want to do is just eat. And then the tetra all look good. There's the serpe tetra. There is the bala shark and one of the Cory catfish. They're actually, oh, there's the other Cory catfish. All three of them there. So there's 4 Cory catfish in here. Here's the Buenos Aires tetra. And we have a few male guppies that are left in here. There's the featherfin catfish. Oh, actually the pleco is on this side over here now. He's just hanging out on the tree bark. But yeah, everything in the 100-gallon looks good. The albino red tail shark is in here somewhere. I have not seen him today. He was out last night though, as well as the yo-yo loach. They usually stick behind the background or underneath the driftwood. They seem to come out more at night, or when the light's off, and the light is on currently, and it has been for a little while, so that's probably why they're out hiding. But yeah, everything in this 100-gallon looks good. Let's check on the guppy tank. Everything in the guppy tank looks good. The guppies are all happy. I'm not really sure if they've been mating, but apparently what I've read is you can actually start to see the fry in the female fish. You can see them through their translucent bellies. So I will definitely keep a lookout for that. So yeah, everything looks good in here. So I'm gonna feed these guys real quick and then we'll go out and take a look at the pond. All right, pond looks good. It's really full right now because we've got a lot of rain. I do not have an overflow on this just simply because it doesn't need one. The way I designed this is it actually slopes this way, so it's higher on this end than it is on this end. So therefore it will drain back out that way, out into this kind of rock river thing that's built here, and then down into the drainage right there. So no need for it to have an overflow necessarily. It was designed to prevent the water from going back towards the house or flooding anything back here, and that all seems to be working. So in this pond right now is actually a new fish that we picked up from one of Brenton's subscribers. Actually, he subscribes to both of us. But in here is a golden knife fish is what it's called, I believe. I don't see him at the moment. He's probably in. So if you can see this through the water, there are 2 rocks here and then there's a flat rock. That's actually a little cave that I built for specifically that knife fish because they like to get up into rocks and things like that, as well as the pleco. The big pleco is under there most of the time as well. Right now he's not right there. Cannot get the knife fish out right now. Really cool fish. Very, very cool fish. I definitely like it. It will eventually be big enough to eat these goldfish. The plan is to relocate it to a tank at some point. It has, however, helped with eating the tadpoles, I believe. I do believe it is actually eating the tadpoles, which is fantastic. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. I really, really enjoyed building out this Blackwater tank, and I definitely have to give a shout out to the Bren. The Bren is the one that brought up the idea of doing this particular theme, and he received a ton of likes on his comment, so he was definitely the winner on what we were going to theme. We are going to keep this tank. This will be a permanent tank in my tank arsenal or my tank army or whatever you want to call it. My groupings of tanks. The 5-gallon that the Betta is currently in will remain a themed tank, and hey, maybe somebody will come up with an idea that will cause another one to be permanently left. But we'll continue to theme that 5-gallon. I want to finish this one out and get the new Betta before we start with another one. But in the meantime, 500 likes. 500, that's all I need on this video. So how about we just pause for just a second, and if you haven't liked the video, go ahead and like it now. Just right down here, there's a little thumbs up, just click that. All right, done? Okay, good. All right, let's continue. So go ahead and start commenting below and let us know what you guys want to see in the next theme. Make sure that we hit that 500 likes on this video, and we will definitely retheme the next one. So I also appreciate all the feedback, both positive and negative, on the Peggy&Janice logo. We're still working on it. It's totally a work in progress. It was just something funny to make. It wasn't really meant to combine Brenton and I's channels or anything like that. It was just something funny because that's kind of the alter egos that we play when we're in these videos together. So like I said, I appreciate the feedback. We're not really sure what we're going to to do with the logo yet. It was just something I wanted to get your feedback on. So I really appreciate that. So once again, if you guys have any crazy video ideas, anything like that, please contact me. My contact information is below. You can put it in the comments below. You can send me an email. You can send me a DM on Instagram. You can comment below. You can text me. You can call and leave a message. Sometimes I answer the phone. All of that contact information is below in the description. So once again, I really appreciate it, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you next time.